Adam Lerner, BrooklynPhotoworks.com, and today I want to share my first impressions with the Sony A7R3. Now, I am new to Sony. I've never really shot with a Sony. I've never really played with these things much. I've been around a lot of folks that have been shooting with Sony. I've actually picked them up, and I've always been impressed with the really nice EVF, the electronic viewfinder. So the folks at Sony offered to send me an A7R3 to play with, and how could I say no? Right off the bat, I will say that the body is so puny with this full frame lens. I mean, this is the full, this is a standard full frame lens that I would easily see be mounted on a Nikon or Canon on a pro body. And obviously this is a pro body, but it is really, really super tiny. I know for me that if I were shooting with glass like this, I would absolutely have to have the grip on this thing because it just seems so unbalanced, and the body is just so dwarfed. It feels small as well. I mean, I see, there's a cutout here. I'm trying to get my hand in here. The buttons are a little bit interestingly laid out. A lot of the standard stuff, like this dial, is like super recessed. So, just to kind of make some quick adjustments on the fly, I find that to be a little bit aggravating. I would just say that, from looking at it, the EVF really is what makes this thing incredible. I mean, I'm just looking through this thing. I love it. I love just this massive, bright viewfinder, and just kind of seeing what I'm seeing inside the viewfinder. Everything looks absolutely fantastic. I actually really also like the spirit level inside of here. I'm sure that that's fantastic for video folks as well. The tilt-out screen, that's pretty cool. I was playing with it earlier. I had the camera really low on the floor, and I was like taking pictures of my dog. Again, the difficulty is that when I was trying to hold the camera low, I mean, there's nothing to hold on to. The thing just kept slipping away from me. But obviously, I was able to do what I need to do. I think that the swivel would be cool, but it doesn't swivel quite enough. Like, let's get the thing to swivel off to the side or somewhere else. I don't know. It's almost there, not quite there. Let's see, what else? Well, let me just show you guys a quick thing here. This is what I'm used to shooting with. The 1DX Mark II. And this thing just feels good. It feels big in the hand. It feels nice in the hand. Everything is there. I mean, look, this thing is kind of massive, okay? It's massive comparatively. We'll just do a quick little side-by-side comparison, and you can see that, yeah, it's quite a difference here. I mean, the body is just puny, but, how can you really compare? I mean, I think personally, I have a little bit more satisfaction shooting with a pro body like this, but this is not about the Canon, it's really about the Sony A7R3. So far, I've taken a few shots. I've brought them into Lightroom. I actually had to update Lightroom. It was only a minor adjustment, but I was able to see the raw files in there. Raw files seem very nice. There's a lot of latitude. They're actually huge. They're 42 megabytes. That's an enormous raw file. And I don't know, I'm not 100% convinced with these raw files getting bigger and bigger if we need all that info. I know that DxO has given this sensor one of the highest marks for a mirrorless camera. Honestly, that doesn't really mean shit to me. Like, I don't really care what DxO says. I mean, granted, sure, it is a benchmark, it does mean something, but I do not buy my gear based on DxO ratings. I don't worry about pixel peeping. I look for other things. For example, the battery did not last very long on this thing. I was out there for a very short time shooting yesterday, and the battery got significantly drained. It didn't completely get spent, but it got drained to the point where I realized that if I were to be shooting with something like this, I would need a whole bunch of extra batteries. Obviously, grip's a big deal because honestly, I don't think that I would be very happy or comfortable having this huge piece of glass hanging off of the front of it without being able to properly hold the camera. So there you go. Those are my first impressions. I'm going to be spending a couple of weeks with this little guy, and I will share my thoughts as we go along. So there, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and we'll see you soon. Hey guys, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. And as you guys know, I use Squarespace for my own website. And anytime somebody asks me what they should use for their website or for their portfolio, I always recommend Squarespace. In fact, right now, if you use the code ADAM, you will save 10% on your website when you go to checkout.